Hey, how's it going? I pulled some cards. I did something I haven't done since I first started doing this, and that is I pulled the cards yesterday and I didn't even look at them. I've only seen the top one since I turned them over, but yeah, surprises. Just try to make life exciting. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? Like it needs more excitement right now. um, Hi, I have a backache. You're welcome. Um, so the reason why I didn't do anything with these yesterday, I wanted to, but I didn't because I don't know about you, but I was feeling all kinds of stuff and I just didn't feel like it was a good time to do this. So I abstained. The funny thing about it though is I talked about this in the last video I made. I think that I wanted to like sort of follow the example of someone that I know that kind of doesn't know all of this other crap is going on, and I don't know how that works. I don't know how to live like that. I don't have enough to do. I know that has a lot to do with it. But anyway, too much information. Um, but it's not unusual. Like I've been feeling kind of overwhelming feelings a lot lately, and I can't believe other people haven't. Like this person I was just talking about, they don't get that so much. Not that they're unfeeling, they just are not. I don't know. I guess if you don't pay attention, you're not tuned into it. Well, duh. Anyway, so I just thought um, the thing that I kind of wanted to emulate was just not to, like, you don't have to say everything you think, you know? You don't even in your head have to have an opinion about stuff, an opinion or judgment or whatever. And I've been trying to be very cognizant of like what I am sort of adding to the world. I have too much glare happening. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Yeah, so now I'm gonna have forgotten what I said. Oh my god, that's so much better on my eyes. I'm like seeing dots right now. Um, so, feeling all the stuff, feeling kind of crazy. Um, oh, maybe I can get back on track. Um, oh, so yeah, I think, oh, so yeah, I can't believe, oh, about the tuning in, right. So, yeah, I mean, what do they always say on, like, the woo-woo channels? They're like, turn off whatever you're watching. This like news, get rid of it. Even if it's not that, it's just because there's so much happening right now that is affecting people. And for me, that's like, I don't know, I can't tear my eyes away because of course I need a drink right in the middle of what I'm saying. I can't tear my eyes away because I am going to be directly affected if certain things go terribly wrong. But the thing is there are lots of other people have already been affected and not well, and yeah, I don't want to experience. I don't want to experience that experience, but I may have to. So yeah, that's like sort of underlying everything. Like, what if, and then you just have to just I don't know, put it in a pillowcase and throw it in the river. Like, you cannot make that sound. That was graphic, huh? Sorry about that. But that actually tracks with what I was going to say, too, is that I decided to just do my best to, like, keep my opinions to myself as much as possible. Like, just keep in the head, thoughts in the head. And then, like, immediately just started to feel crazy angry. Like, I'm telling you, like, nothing had happened. It was literally, I was sitting in this spot, going, okay, probably like when I had just gotten up, or not just gotten up, because I don't do that anymore. I don't immediately like jump on here on my phone. So, I'd come in, and so I'd been up for a while, like 45 minutes or so, but I'd done like all of my little rituals and things that I do in the morning. Not like anything spooky, just like, little routines that I do every day. Feeding the cat and washing myself up for the day, whatever. So, without this, you can concentrate on other things like gratitude, however you express that. That's subjective, like that's up to you. But anyway, I had done all that, so I was feeling like pretty good, pretty okay. Like, I was feeling great, actually. And I would sit down here and I tell myself, okay, just keep it to yourself and go on there. And I really can't tell you what happened first, is that if I started to feel psychotic or if it was from being online, but I didn't have like any interactions with anyone. Just what I was looking at was making me really mad. And so I had to keep turning stuff off. And then it was just ridiculous. And I was like, there's just no reason for this. And I have speculated on what the reason for it might be. Because I don't think there's just one thing that it could be. Oh my god, I'm sorry, my hair is bugging me. But it made me think of attachments, and it made me think that someone that you were attached to, like, their attachment could be contagious, possibly. And that sounds like a movie plot thing. But then so does, the other idea that came to mind was that, like, some opportunist entity or spirit outside of you, and for most of us outside of our notice, is there just waiting, for some person feeling some kind of way to attach to and go, oh, like, press all of the buttons that for them it'd be fun to see you be like so mad that you're just like destroying relationships and household items and things, like just kind of unusual behavior, like like make you look like you're losing your mind, make you feel like you're losing your mind, or just do a lot of things that would be out of character for you to do, that would be possibly harmful to you and anyone affected by them. So some might say demonic possession, some might say what I'm saying, like it could be anything else too, like a jinn, or there's a lot of choices. Or it could go like, Western medicine and you're crazy, and there's a lot of schools of thought there. It could be a combination of, I don't know about all of those things, but I definitely think that there's what is currently recognized as like a psychological component that may actually be something else. We just have misdefined it and don't know what to do with it. And I'm talking about conditions like schizophrenia, where in some societies, these people are like revered and worshipped, and like not, definitely not treated like we treat them here, like they did something wrong. And I don't think they have the same kind of issues that we do here with those people like being out in the world, you know, talking to themselves and living on the streets, or whatever the behavior they're having that's disturbing to a lot of us in other places. I think it's, like I said, like the people feel like this person like lives almost completely like in another dimension, but their body is here. Like that's what I feel like. The way they view these people, like they feel like they are legitimately able to see the world, perceive the world in a way that the rest of us can't. Like somebody's psychic, And I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor or really qualified to determine the other thing. I don't know. Just something to think about, I guess. But anyway, and so that's why I didn't record yesterday, and then like today it has gradually tapered off to now that I basically don't feel that like at all anymore. Thank goodness, because it was very uncomfortable. And then as today progressed, I saw that there were some things that were happening, which, see, the reason why I'm kind of like in the dark about like why am I feeling so crazy is because I have been talking about here a little bit about backing away from sort of depending on watching other channels and their teachings like constantly. Like I feel like I needed to just sort of have more confidence and trust my own instincts or whatever, like kind of vision stuff I was having and that I was interpreting in a way that was making kind of sense to me. Like, eventually you gotta you gotta fly on your own, corny. So, I haven't been paying as much attention to stuff that I used to, and I do miss it. Like I liked having a kind of at least a better idea of what was coming, and like sharing that because like it might be helpful. But oh yeah. So it seems like it was like last weekend that we had, what was it, a lunar eclipse and something else, full moon. I guess that would be when I don't know. I guess that's when the lunar eclipse happens, huh? Well, anyway, I think that's what happened last weekend, or like seems like the last major thing I vaguely knew about. And then tomorrow, or maybe like it's not midnight here yet. It's not o'clock anymore. Well, hold on, I have another one here. Let me see. So in like an hour and a half it'll be Saturday, and sometimes eclipses happen at, like, it'll be all eclipse at 12 and it doesn't say AM or PM, and then you're out there at night going, where is it? Like, you think you can see it because you've checked, and then you go back and you're like, oh, it's AM. Well, you have to, they don't always tell you that up front. Now I just always look. Anyway. I'm an idiot. What do you want? Oh yeah, so today, new moon and solar eclipse, I guess. I haven't looked where the solar eclipse might be. I need to check the weather first because, I mean, if it's a full on solar eclipse that's visible in my area, I think I may have been through two of those in my lifetime. But it gets like dark as night dark for a couple of minutes, so it's kind of a big deal. Uh, and then the new moon. I thought the full moon. I thought the full moon was the problem. The new moon is kind of like, psh, shut up. You don't know you don't know who you're dealing with, do you? And so between the two of those, and it's in Aries, which is not my sign. I don't think I have Aries in my chart, and I think that's what I was feeling though. It's just maybe just like you just kind of like thrash through one weekend and a week, and then pow, you're back in the centrifuge. I don't know. So just to give you a tone of what I was feeling when I pulled those cards, man, I wish I could have gone to that eye appointment today. I'm having a very difficult time getting my eyes to focus. And if I take them off, I'm not going to be able to see much but blurs. So I'm just going to leave them on. What I'm having trouble seeing is like my eyes. I can see that they're there, but they're not. They're in focus now. That's great. Anyway. So, if I look owlish, that's why. Okay, so the first card I pulled. Sorry, I know. Is fluorite. Beautiful. And the subtitle is Victory. I came, I saw, I conquered. Well, what are we talking about? See, I'm inclined to move into the obvious thing, which is the political stuff, but I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about sort of the inclination that, well, I don't want to say that, like, I don't want to say like I was going to say like the inclination that came over me, but then it sounded like I was going to plan some kind of, terrible, plot against somebody or something. No, I just felt crazy. There was no, well, I mean, I was going to say there was no acting upon anything, but there was something that did happen when I was in that just the terrible mood that I'm not proud of. But, and it directly connects with something that I know I have an issue with. I've talked about it, and not really in reference to myself, but, oh, come on, it's also talking about me. And that's being seen. And that, by extension, also means being heard. So, what's been kind of getting on my nerves is, like, when I say something and I'm like, hey, something, 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 and people are like, I feel like nobody hears, but it's not nobody. But, so I'll be like, okay. There's a lot of stuff going on, people's attention. See, now I'm going to sound like an ass if I say that people's attention is really on themselves, especially online. And like it really is. Unfortunately, a lot of it is like, because of the way things are now, your business is you online, like, or whatever you're creating. And so there are a lot of merchants online. There's a lot of competition, and I don't oh my God, I'm not advertising. I don't do all of this stuff, which is fine. And then that is actually, that's deliberate. So, um, at the same time, if you're just trying to be part of the conversation, it is frustrating when you say something and you feel like, hey, this is important, like I'm really like stepping out of my comfort zone to go, hey, come on, guys. And now it sounds so terrible. Like I knew it did. Like what a dork. However, I was sincere, and I think that makes it feel worse. So anyway, but the thing that pisses me off, though, I guess you could say, also, is when, like, wow, not too long at all later, other people were like, hey, we should blah, 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 blah. And these are people that I see all the time, which, I don't know, like, did they mute me? I suppose that's a possibility, because you can do that on Blue Sky. Like, they can turn you off and when they don't feel like looking at you or listening to you. So, but that seems like a pain in the butt. So it seems like if I can see them, they can see me too. So it's like, I just said this. What the hell, man? Again, more than one person invented the radio at the same time. Same with the television. So, and it's not like I invented like a life-saving vaccine or anything. You just want to feel like, hi, I also have ideas that are good and I exist. So what ended up happening, what happened was I was on Facebook and there was a picture of an eaglet sitting on an eagle's back. Okay, so have you ever seen that in your life, ever? I like eagles probably more so than I ever have in my life, but man, I've seen a lot of documentary footage of eagles, and you know what I've never seen? A baby eagle sitting on the mother eagle's back. Like, I suppose in a crazy moment where there was just some sort of collision that made the eaglets fly up out of the nest onto the other eagle's back, but I didn't look at it and go, well, that's for real, like. So right below it, someone had written, that's not real. And I started it, I don't know why I had to online open up my fat mouth, but I was like, who cares? It's a cool looking picture. See, the reason why there's some background to me opening my mouth on Facebook is I think I may have made a face or two mentioning the name. It's because they had a fact-checking deal and then they got rid of it and now they have community or whatever. So I don't know, I didn't see that. Like, this didn't come from a community whatever thing. This just was another user talking. And so, when I said, whatever, it's a cool picture, they came back and they're all, AI is fooling people. I'm adding drama to the voice and it may not have been there, so I should stop. But they're all, AI is fooling people. And I'm like, and I really feel this is true because it's along the lines of, if you're religious, and something is happening, you kind of don't want to get in the way of whatever God willed. And then you may also know, if you've watched my channel at all, that I think that we act as God's will. Like, we are literally God's will embodied, a portion of it, and then the rest is like, we have to figure it out. But probably the guideline we should be following is the God's will portion. But that might be too much for people to digest. Anyway, we have an amount of agency, but for most of us, there's some sort of compass, a moral compass, whatever guides it. And how did I get all the way out in those weeds? Anyway, I see what I'm doing. So my feeling is like, if somebody's about to like do something that's gonna ignite them in flames, absolutely intervene and be a pain in the ass and stop them. But if it's if it's a picture of an eagle with an eagle on its back, I feel like that's not the one to go nuts about. But also, like Facebook, before they got rid of the fact checking, I would often repost pictures of that, and I wouldn't say anything. They might say something sometimes, and if I thought it was funny, I'd leave it, but usually I would just cut it off and credit the poster. Oh my God. Sorry, I did a salt thing this morning, and now my tongue is retaliating. Damn it. Anyway, so it wouldn't, I don't know if it was flagging me, but it was all, hey, this picture's not real, and you shouldn't tell people blah blah blah. And I said, well, first of all, I didn't caption it, so I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm allowing them to make their own conclusions. And that's kind of what my back and forth that I had with whatever was running the fact-checking thing. And then it went away because I'm not the only one that hated it. Like, it was really, really, like, we should hate the presidential administration or regime now, I guess we're calling it, that we have, because of what they're doing, like, right now, today, Friday the 27th of March 2025, like, up to date, I feel like we should be way madder than we are, like demonstrably more angry in some kind of way, especially since a lot of our avenues of defense basically are being systematically removed, specifically so we can't protest and they can make it a crime if we do, or have an opinion. Like, I don't know, like, my days might be numbered, and I don't even like concentrate on that stuff. So I already have like a chip on my shoulder about the Facebook fact check, and then I guess I had like I was possessed. And so it was just like, when they came back and answered me, instead of just accepting what I said, like, it's not that, I should have just said it's not that big a deal, but I don't know if that would have just let it go unanswered, and I should have just let their answer go unanswered, but I couldn't do it. So they said something, and then, or whatever, I just said whatever, it's not real, or I said, oh, I didn't say like that whole bit I just did there about being God's hand and having agency of your own, and like not getting in the way of something that's in motion, like unless it's an emergency, which is my own personal feeling. I don't even know if I can live up to that, but it sounds good. But anyway, it's just, I say it more about, like, we choose to do a lot of things, and so sometimes when we are choosing to do things, we're like choosing for other people, and it's like, I do not like that, especially if you don't know who that you're making these choices for and how they're going to affect those people, and also especially if whatever emotions or biases you might have behind your choices regarding that person or people. Like, I wish that there would be as little of that kind of thing shading decisions, but we're human and we can hardly avoid it because I feel like we all got something. But anyway, I was just like, it was out of character for me to lash out. Like, there was no reason for me to take it out on this particular person, but they said that thing, and I was like, that's it. Let's go. So they said, AI is gonna fool everybody, and I'm thinking, let them learn on their own. I mean, my God, you have to get in the way of every decision everyone makes. Like, can no one experience nothing for real themselves? Like I said, this is what I feel, so I didn't unload all of that. But what I did say was, I don't, more or less, I don't care about that. Let them figure it out. Some kind of smart salute. Like, I was out. I was like, bye. And then I was like, today is not the day. Do not answer me back and say anything. And then they did. And I was just like, I laid into them, and that's all I need to say, And the worst thing about it, here's where yes, I was definitely the asshole. I said that right from the top. I started it. They answered me back with love. What a shithead I am. All this talk and can't even do it. I don't, make a show of all of the times I've done exactly the same thing that this person, the way they responded, like, instead of responding in anger, or like taking out something that I had going on, like, and knowingly, like, don't mess with me or else I'm gonna, that was where I was at yesterday. That is not what what I'm sheepishly saying is, I'm telling you about this. This is not my normal behavior. I don't do that to people. I'm against that. I've had it done to me way too many times. So, I mean, the whole thing was just like manifold with lessons for me. But I just, ow, my shoulders are giving me a little trouble. Just thought I'd share that with you. But basically, my attitude yesterday was, I came, I saw, I conquered. Because I was like, man, I said okay. Who cares? It doesn't matter. And by the way, it's all bad for me. It all looks bad. Boy, it is bad. But here's the thing. Remember what I said? Don't even make me, or whatever my crap was a second ago, and then they did answer me back, and then I unloaded on them. I didn't look at what they said. I didn't see it till after, and I was like, it's perfect. So, earlier when I started talking, I said that I wanted to, like, curb my mouth and whatever. When I comment online, I'm very, very precise in the way that I do it. I'm not like, I was going to say I'm not going specifically after anyone, although that might have changed since I feel like a certain person is after my livelihood. But that is also out of character. Like, I don't want to deal with all of that, but I think a lot of the kind of rage behind it was like feeling like I'm saying things that I feel like are important right now, and I feel like people are ignoring me, and then a couple of days later someone else says it and they're like, yay, that's the greatest thing ever, and I'm like, god damn it, I just said that. So there, I laid my soul bare to you all. Here's the next card. Let's see. Pearl. The subtitle is Intuition. Intuition is seeing with the soul. Well, how did this get all about me? All I can say is I just got through saying more or less, more than less. I knew what I was doing. Like, I had enough intuition to know where that was going. And oh boy, I'm probably going to be really sorry I did that. You know, finding out after the fact about like the eclipses and moon stuff and the sign that they're in, even um it's just like, I mean, like I said, I was feeling something was making me feel that way. And with astrological stuff, it involves planets moving around, and I think that affects all of us in certain kind of ways. Like if it's not in your sign, I mean, think about this: something happens to someone in the sign, or someone in the sign makes something happen, and whatever it is has like outward like ripples. And so I guess in that way we're not unaffected. And then, you know, sometimes you're just tuned in to like everybody and everything, and if you're like sensitive to it, or more than sensitive, like you can just read it like, oh crap, this feeling is preceding this event or whatever. Which wow, that sounds kind of scary. Have you ever watched like Psychic Kids on A&E network? And then you just have these poor kids that, I mean, they have to see like dead people, and so I guess a lot of times they present themselves in the condition that made them dead, and it's just all like a school shooting. um But then I think, you might think, why is that happening to this child? You know, like, why do they have to go through that? Well, that's an interesting point. Like, why do they have to go through that? Maybe they kind of wanted to. Maybe that is. It would be like the pre-planning sort of control at that point, like when you're a child. But if you kind of have like some kids like know kind of what's going on, what's coming, and they say they're old souls, or they're like really young and they're street smart, or they're just like, you could say that they maybe they kind of act like they've done it before, they already knew it. It's like, think about that, like maybe they have already done it, maybe they did already know it. And yet they came as a child, and they came as a child that knows stuff and, you know, can experience stuff. But then there's also people that don't come in turned on like that, and they go through stuff too, and then that's sometimes it turns things on, like the first kid. And I guess I'm just trying to say that I'm, you know, for doing what I did with that person, like it seems like they were wise enough to just be all, okay, this person's having whatever. God bless you, which is what they actually said to me first, and that kind of pissed me off because I thought it was more like a Southern God bless you, like, oh, God bless you, and it means nothing nice of the kind. It can go either way in the South. So I mean, I have to be grateful to that person for having grace with me, honestly, and just allowing me to just like they could have just blocked me, you know. And their impulse is not wrong to protect like people from misinformation, but some things you gotta kind of learn how to experience and learn, like, ooh, this is not what I thought it was. Like, you gotta learn to discern, I guess. Dude, these cars are all sticking to each other. They're all slippery. So, here's the next one. It is citrine. And the subtitle is, I have a heating pad. That's not on the card. But that card, it's not raining, but it's, you don't care. So the subtitle is illusion. Everything you can imagine is real. See, that's awesome. That goes back to like taking your life in control. And I guess by that I mean, like, my example that I shared with you was not really the way to go unless you want to experience some caca duty, which is probably what I'm going to have to experience now. And it's weird because I am like, I don't want to be like so negative, knowing what I know about like the new stuff that is gonna affect like not just me but lots and lots of other people, and not just recipients of the agency or employees of the agency. It's gonna interrupt like sales for places like giant swaths of the country. I wonder, like, why don't these people that own these corporations figure this stuff out beforehand? Like, the farmers and the food producers, like, what, did they think they were going to get Americans to go do that? We'll see, won't we? I don't think we're going to see people going out to do that, so I don't know what's going to happen. We better learn how to eat sun and air and ice cubes and grass. It's not supposed to get that bad. Oh, hi. Kitty's here. Oh, your toes are so cold. Are you okay? You still have food. Sorry, excuse us. So, I knew what I was doing. Did I not say that? I knew what I was doing, and I also knew that the further I let myself go against everything that I had said and thought, I psyched myself up before I sat in front of this thing. But when you repeat something over and over, at some level, you got to realize that you play a part, and that is not a foreign idea to me. I've certainly mentioned it here 1,000 million times. I don't want to get into like what the reason would be, because it feels like it's way personal. Like, if I want to keep doing that to myself. However, there are times when you can also choose to win. Like, today I had a number of wins, small wins, but you got to start somewhere, and none of your business what they were, but thank you very much. So I feel like that whole like controlling like what your life is like what changing a pattern, it's all got to come from you. Like, are you gonna do the things like actually keep your mouth shut and have an excellent day and offend no one? Or are you gonna have a kind of dim bulb day and offend not only the person you were talking to, but whoever saw that had to be thinking, yes, you are the asshole, to steal a turn of phrase from Reddit. Which, I mean, if you read those things, which I can't for too long, but if you read like the posts, some of those posts, it's like, yeah, you are. But I think it's kind of good though, that people can go there and actually come out and say it, because it's good to realize it. It's better to realize it than to keep doing it, because then you can learn to have some self-awareness, which possibly is what I needed. Or maybe I needed some of everybody else's awareness, like, because of the being seen. Like, look at me, see me, I need to be seen so bad, I'm gonna go over here and act like a complete arse. Anyway, everything you can imagine is real. I gotta work on my imaginings, although that's poop. I don't at all. I have some that I don't talk about here that get your mind out of the gutter. That I'm actually, in the process of making a reality. So, sometimes you have to wait for the seed to grow. Like, you can't just be all insta now, or you can. Some people can. I just haven't quite worked out how to do that. I'm too busy, like, driving myself down driving myself down blind alleys to take a beating. Like, I still gotta learn some stuff about doing that. Anyway, next card is Lapis Lazuli. I love those. I don't have any, do I? I might. The subtitle is Open. Are you talking about me? TMO? It reads. Give me a second. You know how long I've tried to make that sound, make that cartoon sound? I can't believe I just did it. Anyway, the only way to find true happiness is to risk being completely cut open. I mean, what do you want from me? There's something to that. I mean, it's not, I didn't like openly share all of that and what an idiot I could be just for, like, what, I'm not getting, like, great points for any of that. But here's something I learned about like bearing your soul, or just embarrassing yourself in front of people. And he was talking about something completely different, but I was, kind of like made the application work for myself or not work. I don't know. You can make your own decision, but Stephen Colbert was saying that sometimes he would walk down the street in, like, the most crazy looking, embarrassing way he could think of, just because, I don't know, like, I may be getting it wrong here, but it was kind of a, like, I'm just going to embarrass the crap out of myself before anybody else can, or, nope, that wasn't it. He had a specific reason, but, I mean, it spoke to me in that way, like I said, and it's a very comedian thing to say. Maybe that's why I said it, but it's that I'm gonna make fun of me before anybody else can. So, I mean, he had, it was in the middle of a story. That's what I can't recall is the details of the story, but I believe he was feeling vulnerable in the moment and was about to face something that was a little scary, and I think that was a way to, like, get the fear out of his system. That sounds way closer to what I am remembering that that particular part of the story came from. But it always makes me think, like, or remember, like, he, like, what I just did, like, I don't know, like, I honestly am not sure why I was so insanely angry, and it lasted, like, all day, and part of the previous day. So I was like, man, this has got to end. I don't have that. I've been holding back, and I just have all this rage, and I want to take it out on society. I'm not Thelma and Louise here, like not at all. I don't want to. I don't want to do all of that. I'll just find another way to deal with it. um, but yeah, okay. I think I said all I have to say with that one. So this is the last one. I'll stop torturing you, and it's hematite. This stuff, if I'm looking at it correctly, is all around me. Like, I have some actually. Oh, that's not in here anymore. Where is that thing? Oh no, it's behind me on top of that shelf. There's several pieces of that in here. Ooh, now you know. Oh man. Very funny. Here's the subtitle. It's devil. It says, hell is empty and all the devils are here. Okay. Devils, that seems to indicate minor devils. Oh, I guess that would be demons. Are you telling me I really was possessed by demons? Ooh, was that... I don't know, do you think I was? I don't know, you know... Am I doing on time here? I can't see. I don't want you to look up my nose either. Okay. Well, I don't know about that, because I'm telling you, it was way powerful. I mean, it's just kind of funny to me that before it set in, like the crazy anger, that I had already decided, like, keep your mouth shut. And so I points for me. I saw it coming, but I was too dumb to know what I was seeing coming. Ow, 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 ow. Is that punishment for talking or something? So, I mean, yeah, minor devils here to bedevil us into behavior. And that actually could extend, in all seriousness, far beyond me. There's a lot of just not great behavior happening publicly and behind the scenes that, thank God, I mean, not thank God we have to see it or know about it, but thank God that once we do, the people that are being super negatively affected can be removed from situations. So, I mean, it is very important to keep try to stay in a higher vibration if you possibly can, and laugh as much as you can, you know, just to let it act as a pressure valve. Because here's the thing, what I wanted to do that nobody wanted to join me in was to empower ourselves by starting a campaign of sorts. Like, my thing was like, let's start a lawsuit, and even if it went nowhere, just the threat or the idea of it would have been nice if, like, some hundreds of people would have responded by saying, yes, I get it, I like this idea. Because the charge I want to make is that everything they're doing, and I know this is part of the why they're doing what they're doing, the way they're doing it, is to do exactly the thing, which is create anxiety and fear. And I'm like, I want to sue them for psychological abuse. We all know the U.S. government, or, you know, now it's public knowledge, or I don't know. I guess we could thank ancient aliens for making people aware of things like MK Ultra. There's another program that's very similar that I can never remember. Majestic something. One preceded the other, but they're both brainwashing, like, government programs, and it's been pretty well documented. It also was going on in Canada, and a lot of like Indian Native American schools where they took them and converted them into white people and wouldn't let them speak their languages and wouldn't let them, practice their traditions. A lot of people were abused and physically harmed and worse. So, and just all to, well, I think partly to like find out this terrible, pretty much like Nazi stuff, like how to, like, just de-articulate people and do the worst things and see what extremes you could put them through and not think about what they might be feeling and what their distress level is, except for recording their distress level as yet another observation that they can use, Nazi stuff. So now I wandered so far afield. What the heck was I talking about before that? Let me, please God, drag myself back. Shoot. Wow, I'm like, I lost the thread on that one. Oh, I know I was ranting and raving about the government. Oh, yes, the psychological abuse. Thank you, brain. See, man, I do not listen to what people say about pot and short-term memory. Did you see how I dragged myself back? It can be done. You just have to retrain your brain to back up. It's really like amazing. So anyway, no one was like into that, but I could see where like a few months down the road or maybe a year, people are just gonna be like, it's maybe too early, And so I was gonna keep going with it, but now I know why no lawyers were responding to me, because Trump's going after all of the big companies, including ones that have both represented him and also maybe the same company here represented like Jan 6 people that were anti-Trump and like the politicians. You gotta laugh. Anyway, I know I have a point here. Hold on, I'm trying to get it back. Oh yes. So yeah, I really personally I am as much as anyone. That's not making any sense at all. As much as anyone else, I totally have an ego. Yes, but I think this started before ego really became like something that could like whack me around and make me behave like an idiot for my own protection. It's supposed to be. No, I mean, this has been since I was like a little kid. Like, I just wanted to not be made to feel like I was the little kid talking, when even I knew, like, I was making a valid contribution to the conversation. I may have been a child, but especially when I grew up, it was like, don't speak unless you're spoken to. So if you're like interrupting an adult conversation, you could get spanked, you could get in trouble. And I would definitely get ushered away in a hurry, but it's part of being a woman too. Like, people don't want to listen to you, and then if you're like a black woman, they want to discount you. And don't get all over me about the they. You know exactly who the they is I'm talking about. The same people that are like removing the rights of minorities of all stripes and kinds and everything you can dream of. So, and by the way, they're also those damn hypocrites. Every one of the things they're trying to get rid of, maybe except for like having the skin, but everything they condemn, they totally do. Hypocrites. So, please look at my signs. Yeah, I haven't filled in. I'm going to wrap it up right now. I haven't filled in my sign back there on the whiteboard part much, or at all, because I felt, the anger thing that I felt so strongly, it didn't turn into anger until, like, what was yesterday, Thursday? But what it felt more like was interference, like I really had to spend a lot of time to meditate, to get to the meditative space and like clear my head enough to get the desired effect. And that, I never liked that. But yeah, you can't get upset about it. It's like you got to find that place between trying and not trying. Anyway, I don't know what good what I just did is going to do anyone, but thank you and good night.